Well, howdy, and welcome to Thursday's edition of Today's Bread. Now, this week's topic has been expectations for everyday living. Today, we're going to look at be good to your enemies. Now, the scripture references Romans chapter 12, verses 14 through 21. Now, Paul instructed Christians to respond in a godly manner to persecution in verse 14. Believers are expected to bless those who have treated them wrongly, a command that recalls Christ's teaching in Matthew chapter 5, verse 44. Now, in that verse, we see a higher purpose in our loving response. Instead of acting in anger when we are mistreated, we are to respond by praying for those who mistreat us. It takes humility to overlook the offense of an enemy. The human tendency is to demand our own right to retaliate or cause the offender to suffer a penalty. Paul outlined the godly course of action, though. He did that in Romans chapter 12, verses 17 through 21. He instructed believers to reject the urge to get even for the evil of an enemy. No, it's not, I'm going to get even. God desires that his people instead consistently display right responses to those around them. Christians are to seek the way of peace, even in the face of persecution, according to verse 18. Now, while personal vengeance is tempting, the believer must instead leave the consequences to God. You can see it in verse 19. You can also see it in the Old Testament, in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 35. Dying to self requires sincere trust in God, believing that he will deliver justice by his own means and in his own timing. Some of the most common responses people have to their enemies are revenge. Others are subtle, reacting by slandering an enemy. But God calls believers to live in clear contrast with the world. Rather than vengeance, Christians are to minister to their needs, verses 20 and 21. This godly response allows good to triumph over evil. As a result, the enemy's ungodly actions may cause a sense of shame that burns like coals on his or her head. It has been said that while vengeance breaks an enemy's spirit, kindness can also break or soften his heart. Amid these commands dealing with enemies, Paul also instructed believers in their relationships with each other. We are to offer help and support in the worst of times and rejoice together in the best of times, verses 15 and 16. Such attitudes melt away barriers of financial or social status. When our hearts are filled with love, respect, and honor, we are better equipped to reject the divisions that often exist in our lost world. It is not hard to see how the lifestyle described in Romans is in stark contrast with the behavior practiced in this world. It is a lifestyle that reflects transformation Paul originally called for in Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Now, this has been today's bread, one portion at a time. Thank you. Have you prayed today? Well, Thursday's prayer focus for America is that the church would lead the way in reconciliation and love across denominations, races, and regions. Now, remember, Jesus is coming back soon. Here's Thursday's blessing. I bless you with understanding deep in your heart that God will always provide a safe place for you. It's a place of refuge.